Yo, welcome back to Infinite Investors, the home for all new and non-investors into the stock market. My name's Curtis and I'm back with another stock to watch. Today, I'm going to be talking about Bristol Myers Squibb. And, the whole purpose of stocks to watch is for you guys to, you know, investigate a bit more thoroughly certain stocks that I've picked out that look interesting. That's probably the best way I can put it. But yeah, if you like that, please like the video, please smash that subscribe button, and let's get into it straight away. Bristol Myers Squibb. This company is a pharmaceutical company. It develops, licenses, manufactures, markets, distributes, and sells biopharmaceutical products worldwide, as you can see written there. Now, I've added this to the stocks to watch on a number of reasons. As I've told you guys multiple times in many videos, before I enter a trade, before I enter an investment, I don't want to have one singular reason for why I'm going to enter a specific investment. I like to have three, four, multiple reasons, just so if I'm wrong on one front, then maybe I might be right, on two or three other fronts, and that can make me feel like my investments are a sort of safer decision. So there are multiple reasons why I think Bristol Myers Squibb is a good potential investment, which I'm going to relay to you. The first is from a value standpoint. As you can see, it's considered to be about 45% undervalued, which is a very, very decent figure, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of growth potential in the next 1 to 3 years. Now, obviously, this is from Simply Wall Street. I'm getting this information from Simply Wall Street, as you can currently see here. From a ratio standpoint, what you can also see is the price to earnings growth ratio, which for me is the most important ratio when I'm talking about any specific stock that is not housing or not a heavy inventory based stock. If it's a heavy inventory based stock or if it's a housing stock, then I generally like to look at price to book as the main focus. Other than that, I generally look at PEG ratio, which is price based off earnings and their growth potential. So I've got a video on PEG ratio, what it means and how to look out for it. The link is in the description, so go check that out if you want to know what that means. And based off that, it's 0.6 times, which is a really, really low PEG score, and low is good, by the way. And so that is something that's extremely interesting. In terms of price to earnings, is actually still pretty strong. It's actually beating the pharmaceutical industry and the market in terms of price to earnings as well. But I generally like to look at price to earnings growth, just because I think that's a bit more of an accurate metric to look at, particularly when you're evaluating stocks across sectors as well. When we look at the future performance, they're expected a 23.2 expected growth in annual earnings, which I think is a very, very significant figure. If you're talking about an established company, an established industry, and talking about a 25% growth in earnings, in profit, that's obviously nothing to be sniffed at. So obviously they're potentially doing something right, which is the reason why people are expecting that amount of growth. And so again, it's something to look into from that standpoint. If you look at the earnings growth based off the pharmaceutical industry and based off the market, you can quite clearly see that Bristol Myers Squibb has been outperforming both their own sector and both the market in general, which is obviously good to see. From a revenue standpoint, they've actually been underperforming the sector and also the market, but earnings I think is more important than revenue, because it means that capital, that extra liquidity, they can either pass back to you guys through dividends, or they can reinvest back into the business in order to achieve a higher growth performance as well. So I like to look at earnings. I think both are very, very important, but earnings for me personally, with the way I like to invest, is probably the priority metric in that scenario. When we look at past performance, here there is a little bit of a bogey. It's a really good performance, but what I'm seeing is in the last year, Bristol Myers Squibb has had a 459.7% past earnings growth, compared to 40% in the industry, and 23.4% in the market. I'm not too sure if this is accurate. I mean, I expect it to be accurate because it's Simply Wall Street, but remember, it is data at the end of the day. It is facts and figures, and sometimes you have to do a little bit more of a digging. So this is something probably worth looking into in multiple sources. If it is accurate, then there is something that Bristol Myers Squibb knows about running a business that eludes the market and eludes many other businesses, which I would love to know what it is that they know that is making them perform so well. Maybe it's something recent, maybe it's something else, like they had some money returned to them from the government, or it could be something like that that might contribute to their earnings. So I will try to look into that a little bit more strongly, but it looks like they've had a good past performance from that standpoint. When we look at the health of the business, the health, as you can see, there's all ticks there. They've got a very, very strong balance sheet, as you can see. Their debt is covered by their short-term assets. You can see that the level of debt is satisfactory. The level of debt has also reduced as well. The debt is well covered by their cash flow as well, and they have no concerns in paying the interest accrued on their debt. So that is good from that standpoint. From a dividend standpoint, it's estimated to be 3.7% next year, currently 3.52%. So it's a very, very stable dividend payment. Obviously, being a US stock, it's going to pay quarterly dividends, so you can expect that on the money every 3 months, which is good. Their dividends are covered by earnings 1.9 times. It's expected to continue to be covered, and they've been stable, and they have increased over the last 10 years, which typically for dividend investors, they look to see that the dividends are well covered. It's a high yield, it's been stable, and it's obviously increased over the last 3 years. So there are multiple factors that make Bristol Myers Squibb a potentially investable business, which is why I wanted to share that with you today. Me personally, I know what's on your head, Curtis. Are you going to invest in Bristol Myers Squibb? Is that going to be in your portfolio? I'm 50-50 with it. From a fundamental standpoint, it looks perfectly fine. And it looks like something that I would like to feature in my portfolio, just because it's safe and steady and will grow in the long term. It seems a little bit undervalued, and so I think there's definitely an opportunity in it, which is the reason why I presented it to you guys. From an ethical standpoint, I never really saw myself introducing big pharma or pharmaceutical companies within my portfolio, primarily because the pharmaceutical industry in America is rife with I don't even know what the word is to use, but they effectively, they run governments, they profit off people's misfortune often. I'm not saying Bristol Myers Squibb does, but I think that the industry as a whole, if you guys know about a few other companies where they've raised the price of medication from like £25 to like £800 for medication. And if you there's documentaries on the pharmaceutical industry. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's something I think you guys should look at in your own time. I did go on Yahoo Finance just to find out when the next earnings call is, and it's going to be July 25th, so it's at some stage this month as well, which they are projected to post an earnings of $105 per share, which will be a growth of about 3.96%. So if they do that, I will expect their share price to rise. So I might put a small sum in there. I'm not going to sort of put my house on it or anything like that, but I do think from a fundamental standpoint it's right. From an ethical standpoint, this is my own personal position. I need to kind of do a bit more research onto Bristol Myers Squibb and just make sure that they haven't done anything that's sort of grossly unethical, personally speaking. But anyway, I'm not going to let my beliefs impact what you guys should potentially look at. And so yeah, I think this is a good one to put into the stocks to watch. Hope you guys found this interesting. Let me know if it's something else you want to know, or another stock you might want me to review, and obviously I'll come back with another investment video. If you've got this far, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm on a mission to get to 2,500. Is it 2,500? Yeah, 2,500 subscribers as soon as possible. That's the next milestone. Much appreciation to everyone that's been subscribed to the channel thus far. Other than that, take care, have a great evening, have a great week, and I'll catch you with another investment video at some point in the future. Take care. Oh, by the way, I've got a new portfolio update that's now available. You'll see that if you hit the channel, so go check that out, and hopefully you guys will be interested in the growth in that portfolio. Take care, guys. Have a great evening. Happy investing.